Looking back a year and a half ago, little could I foresee the great awakening that I was about to endure as I parted ways from a place I once called home. This awakening was instantaneously triggered after stumbling upon the question, what does it mean to be alive? Oblivious me worked his whole life towards a goal of owning his very own business in hopes of becoming a self-made millionaire, that in the process of obtaining this goal, he completely lost himself, and never did he once question what the driving force behind this goal was in the first place. Maybe it was the expectations put in place by society, his mentors, and family that programmed this idea into the seeds of his unconscious mind during the years of his adolescence. Maybe it was the dream they sold him of being able to obtain self-fulfillment, happiness, and liberation through the attainment of that very goal. Sadly, that was not the case and could be further from the truth. How ignorant of the fool to not once question whether or not that was the actual purpose of life and instead accept someone else's truth and ideology as his very own. Although owning a business did give access to third-dimensional material attachments, an abundance of monopoly money to play with, and the illusory persona of an independent, highly successful individual whose wealth and career through the lens of the public's eye is automatically accompanied with a social status and preconceived notions of his mortal essence. However, it did not bring about true happiness, and to a trained eye, the veil was thin, as if it were transparent, allowing the outsider to completely see through the mask that is his ego, leaving behind the shattered remains of a lost, hurt, and confused soul. Only through this conscious recognition, isolation, and self-realization could the process of transformation, metamorphosis, and the true liberation of self have taken place. By bringing awareness to the metaphysical universal forces that existed within him and without him, forces capable of creating, manipulating, and or destroying upon one's will, a power in which we all possess but lays dormant like a serpent coiled up in all its majesty, hidden and tucked away ever so cleverly, only to reveal itself in all its awe and might to a select few who the serpent considers worthy enough to grant access to and through the seven gates of the underworld, exposing the concealed and veiled light. In search of this ancient sacred power and divine knowledge, I devoted my life to being of service to others, but most importantly, being of service to myself. For how can man help others if he cannot even help himself? I had sacrificed all that was of the material world in hopes to gain insight into the invisible world. I didn't want my career, material items, or wealth to define me. I wanted to define myself, so I let it all go, including this ego, purchased a van and headed west, diving blindly into the unknown territories, into the depths and darkness of the abyss, letting go of fear in hopes of attaining greater knowledge, truth, wisdom, and understanding. The long dark nights of the soul had me questioning our very existence as germs formed and contained in this physical formation of a human body, shackled in flesh, floating on a planet amongst the stars and vast, infinite, ever-expanding universe. Oh, how grateful and privileged I am to receive answers to questions I have long pondered. Nevertheless, these answers that manifest themselves in the form of words, numbers, and visions were never to be accepted as absolute truth, but rather to have the credibility and integrity questioned to the highest of degrees, to meticulously analyze and dissect them down to a narrow focal point in which I'm able to mentally visualize, conceptualize, and observe the answer from all its aspects unbiasedly to the best of my cognitive, emotion-free capabilities before forming and presenting my very own subjective answers wholeheartedly, using objective facts and personal experience as evidence only when necessary. With all that being said, in the following video I'll be uploading a sequence to this video, present to you my conclusion to the question, and I hope to hear your thoughts and comments down below on what you think it means to be alive, or better yet, what does it mean to be dead?